Welcome into the half-century marker. This is the 50th episode of Cleveland Sports Realm. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I've been doing this in honor of players, obviously, since basically we've started this podcast. I want to say we were probably in the 20s when I started doing this. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Cavs season starting in under a week from when this releases. So in honor of episode 50, I'm going to do two members from that championship team in 2016 in honor of J.R. Smith and Kevin Love, numbers 5 and 0. Welcome into the 50th episode of Cleveland Sports Realm. I am Kevin, alongside is my co-host Jerome. Behind the camera, you can't see him, we can. As always, producer Eric. Jerome, we're recording Wednesday evening. It is October 15th as we sit here. It's almost 7 o'clock. How we doing?
We're doing good, man. I can't complain. Well, I could about some sports stuff.
Sure, right. You always can in this town.
Yeah, there's always something to complain about. But, yeah, you know what? We're doing all right, man. We're hanging in there. So let's get into it, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should probably start out first and foremost. We talked a lot of Guardians last week. I say we talk just a little bit of time on the Guardians now, as we saw last night, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, the news broke that Austin Hedges, we're not even into the World Series yet, and Austin Hedges has re-signed with the Cleveland Guardians. What do you make of that one?
Well, it's
1 year, $4 million. I think I saw the deal.
Certainly expected, because here's the deal with that. This is one guaranteed thing that they're going to do every year. They may not do anything else, but they're going to at least give you back Hedgie on a $4 million deal. I think one thing really when looking at this, Austin Hedges stinks at hitting, but he's good behind the plate. He still has a negative WAR every year. But I think one thing that I'll give Austin Hedges credit for, and I think I might have done this many shows back, but I'm going to do it again.
Please.
Good job by him picking Scott Boras as his agent.
Oh, yeah, you have done this.
Because you know what? I don't know anybody else who can hit 160 every year and get a guaranteed $4 million contract before the season ends. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, we have talked about this before, though, that I know you mentioned the negative WAR that he has, but there is something, the fan base has acknowledged it, the people in the clubhouse, the players, the coaches, the manager himself has acknowledged this, but there is just something about his presence in that locker room that I do think leads to maybe even double-digit wins per year, to be honest with you.
So, here's the deal with that, too. I wonder how many more years they're going to let him play.
Right.
Because you just lost Kai Correa to the Mets. He was your defense and fielding and all that and strategy coach. And, he's going to be the Mets bench coach now for Carlos Mendoza over there in Queens. So they lost him. So I would have actually rather seen Austin Hedges come back and replace Kai Correa's position.
Maybe that is in their future plans at some point.
They might lose Albernaz. He got managerial looks off last offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if he does again. So we'll see. Carl Willis is still thinking things over. If he decides not to come back, that is a huge loss, obviously. I don't know. Maybe he'll want to do it one more year, but maybe he's had enough. That remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But, no, you know what, Kevin? This is the least surprising news. Again, this is like saying the grass is green, the sky is blue. Austin Hedges gets a $4 million deal to come back here every offseason.
Yeah.
In fact, it's been for the last 5 years, because I believe in 2021 was the end of his time where his arbitration ended. 2022, 1 year, $4 million. It's been for the last 5 years, because he's done it in 23, 24, 24, 25, and 26. 23, he did leave and got $5 million from the Pirates.
And won the World Series.
Yeah, and then got traded to the
Rangers.
Rangers.
The Rangers,
so,
right.
It is what it is. Like, if this is your only move, I'm going to go absolutely nuts.
In a happy way?
No.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, if this is your only move, I'm going to kill him. Like, in the sense of I'm going to crush them on this podcast and yell at them, and they deserve every bit of that. But we'll see, because, once again, during their post-mortem press conference, Antonetti, financial flexibility, their favorite two words down there. So, that's the one thing that I get it. Like, I get his value. He's great. You give him some pom-poms. He runs around shirtless. He's like a mascot, essentially, Austin Hedges.
Yeah, that has a positive WAR, at least in our terms, and how we see that team. Yeah.
Right, and then he does a good job with the pitching staff, runs around shirtless, claps his hands, and he makes $4 million to do so.
Yeah.
I think he lives a great life.
Yeah, it's a brilliant lifestyle.
And I can confirm his old lady's not too bad looking either.
I would imagine, right?
Yeah, so good for him. Whatever. Like I said, I'm not going to scream and yell about Austin Hedges being back. It's just something that we all expect at this point.
Right.
I am going to scream and yell if you don't do anything else. So.
Yeah. No, I can absolutely see that point from you, Jerome. And I am interested to see, with the uptick in performance from Bo Naylor over the last, month and a half of the season, even going into the playoffs, if they're going to have him in their future plans, because that was somebody that you and I, at least on this show, had kind of written off and said, hey, this is going to be his last year. Hopefully they go into a different direction with catching. And bringing Hedges back, obviously they're probably going to be playing him every day against left-handed pitching like they had been. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do when it comes to the right-handed pitching in that lineup, because if that was lightning in a bottle that they caught with Bo Naylor and he's able to transition that into next year, then obviously I'll be a little bit more excited about that catching position. But I do think that's exactly what it was lightning in a bottle. And I think eventually that's going to fade out for him.
Well, here's the thing with that. I can't remember if it was 2023. Bo finished the same way. He had an unbelievable September. And so then you're looking at it and you're saying, well, wait a minute. So he did this in 2000. So are we going to give Bo Naylor the starting catching job based off in the last 3 years that he's had 2 good months?
Right.
September of 23 and September of 25.
Yeah, I wouldn't be confident in that.
And then, then it also, not to keep hammering this point home, but it also shows you by the fact that they re-sign Hedges every year, they just don't seem to give a shit what they get offensively from their catchers.
No, I don't think they do either, because that's just one of those that you can tell they're just like, well, we'll just bat him 8th or 9th, and then as long as he gives us good defense, then hopefully we get some offense from the other 7, 8 positions that we have in the lineup. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing that's interesting about that is they did mention they want David Fry to catch. So you have him, you have Hedges, and then on top of that, Cooper Engel is knocking on the door. Like, he's ready to go. Like, he's going to start the year in AAA. And so I still do wonder if Bo's a non-tender candidate. I don't think he will be. Maybe Bo's included in a trade. Like, I wonder, because if you want Fry to catch, you already gave your, annual Austin Hedges $4 million to wave pom-poms, which guarantees him a spot on the roster. And then Cooper Engel's ready to be here. So, I don't know. I wonder if Bo, maybe this is the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And we talked about, last year at the end of the season, how we would have loved to see David Fry jump into that starting catching role. But obviously with the elbow injury, that was never going to happen this year.
Right.
So maybe that does happen into next year. I mean, that's now we're talking a year and a half, almost 2 years later from us even talking about him being a full-time catcher. Maybe that's something that he doesn't want to have, the stress on the knees, anything like that. And he's another player, too, that we've talked about that kind of gives you that V formation in the field. Left, third, catcher, first, right. He can play all those positions for you. So, we don't even have to put all of our eggs into the David Fry basket for catching. I think he's going to be a very important part of this team, obviously, going into next year, just being a guy that can DH for you and play all those positions as well.
Right, absolutely. And I think David Fry's value, they talked about that too. David Fry, when Stephen Vogt and Chris Antonetti gave their, end of the season postmortem press conference, they talked about how big of an off the field leader David Fry is too. And I mean, if there's anybody who's got a guaranteed roster spot, it's David Fry, outside of like Jose Ramirez and like Austin Hedges. Like, it's David Fry. So, one other thing I guess we'll give quick Guardians thing. Daniel Schneemann, Gold Glove finalist for utility position. Stephen Kwan, Gold Glove finalist. Jose Ramirez, Gold Glove finalist. And Carlos Santana, even though he's not with us, did enough in his 6 out of 7 months to be a Gold Glove finalist.
Wow. So, okay. I didn't see that with Los.
We'll see which one of those guys win it. I'd imagine Kwan will. I mean, he's won it every year. He's been in the big leagues, so we'll see. It is weird that Carlos Santana's going to win a Gold Glove here and didn't finish the year here. And
yeah, that is weird.
The best part of the because I think he's going to win it personally, but it's weird that he didn't finish the year here. And the 1 month of the season the team actually played good, he was hanging out with the Cubs.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So interesting.
He was flying around that W flag.
I think that's all I have for baseball. You have anything else?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to touch on very quickly. I did see a report that Emmanuel Clase, there's a shot that he may never play in the MLB again. I don't know how factual that is, but that is something that I came across and looked to be a verified account on X. So that's definitely
Hector Gomez, I believe, had that.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is into that. Like I said, I mean, we haven't heard any intricate details about this since it's come out, basically. It's just that, hey, we're checking on these guys for gambling, and then, what is it, 3-4 months later now at this point?
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything other than we're just delaying the deadline.
We're postponing it. Tends to be right about the Dominican players and stuff. And what's going on a lot of times. Although he was wrong on the sense that when Clase had gotten suspended, Gomez insisted on Twitter that there were many more Guardians to come, and then obviously nobody else did.
Yeah, right.
So you can take that, listeners, however you want, whether you believe or not, Hector Gomez. But I also heard from Jason Lloyd that it's coming. He said he doesn't know when, but it's coming. And
the decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he heard Jason Lloyd claimed that Clase has a better chance of being done forever than Ortiz does. So I don't know if maybe they didn't find as much on Ortiz. I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We haven't heard legitimately anything since they've been put on that
and
suspension
I'd imagine
list.
At this point, from Major League Baseball, they're focused on their LCSs now. They're not
100%. Yeah.
And we're not probably going to hear anything. For some odd reason, I feel like the winter meetings is when that's going to come out.
You could totally be right, because that's when a lot of that information's swirling around. A lot of stuff starts coming out.
Yeah.
That's kind of almost like the information and transaction overload of the MLB period.
Well, absolutely. It's when they say the hot stove gets cooking.
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
That. We just don't know that around this town because we don't do anything
right.
at the winter meeting. But the teams who actually give a shit, they do a lot of stuff. At the
right.
winter meetings,
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
I think the last time I remember us doing anything at the winter meetings was when we signed Josh Bell. That went real well.
Yeah, listen, I was pretty excited about
so
that
was
one.
I.
Yeah.
So was I. I'm not saying I'm looking hindsight totally now because
right.
I remember you and I watching MLB Network and them talking about what a power. Oh, we were going nuts.
Yeah, we were pumped.
Yeah, we were ecstatic.
We were pumped.
All right. Do you want to get into the losers?
I guess we have to at some point, so might as well make it now. Let's finish on a higher note. So we'll get to the dumpster fire right now.
So let's get to it. 23-9 loss in Pittsburgh. And honestly, because the offense stinks so bad, it felt like it was more than a 14-point game watching it.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, they went down 3-0 and it felt insurmountable.
Yeah, and the day wasn't all bad. Listen, we had a nice party.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mom and your mom. They both made food.
Yeah, and your father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a nice time. We had 10, 12 of us.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful party. That's the only thing good I could say about that game.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing missing was producer Eric.
Yeah, he was supposed to come.
Yeah.
Let's look at him.
He's locked in on something over there. I think he's just checking our volume. But yeah, he was the only person missing really from that get together. So yeah, it was a good time. We didn't let the Browns damper our mood really. I mean, we did for a little bit, but we were pretty much high spirits the whole time. Yeah.
And that actually leads me into a good point because like Ken Carmen says, when we stop caring, that's the worst thing that could happen for them. Because if you start getting just totally apathetic, which a lot of folks have done already,
yeah,
they're in trouble. Like, listen, they lost.
They're getting there.
They lost already an entire generation of fans. And you're going to lose a second one if you don't get your shit together.
No, they absolutely are. And I actually want to shout out Anthony Lima when I was listening to the Ken Carmen show Monday or Tuesday morning. Lima had said something along the lines of how invested this city always is in the Browns, and the fact that typically, even when the Browns were bad, we always talk about the 2016 and 2017 seasons as being one of the lowest of lows. But even during then, you typically had texts from friends that were coming in saying, oh, this player at least looks pretty good. Maybe we can build around him. Or this player stinks. We got to get rid of that player, blah, blah, blah. And there is none of that going on right now. Lima was the one that pointed it out. And I got to thinking, granted, most of the people I would be texting about that we were hanging out with, so we were talking about it. But there's a couple other people I typically text throughout the game of updates and players that I feel like look good, players I feel like look bad, things that we can attack maybe in the second half and talk strategy. And there was none of that on Sunday. So I think you're already starting to see the fan base not give a shit. And it's one of those things, Jerome, we've talked about, we haven't really hit on it too much. But we have in the sense of bringing up the albatross, but I've gotten to thinking seriously that even if the best case scenario is they find their franchise guy, whether that is Dylan Gabriel, whether that is Shedeur Sanders, whether that's somebody in the future, you still have so much money taken up in the albatross that even if that future guy can play out his rookie contract, as soon as the albatross is done and we're done paying him, which God knows that's probably past 2030 at this point. Seriously,
it's 2032.
The way that we're pushing this money out, this is going to be affecting this franchise for so long that even if we find the guy and their rookie contract runs out and we got to give them, best case scenario, he is the guy and we got to give him a massive contract. We're talking $40-50 million a year. You're going to be talking about a 20-year stretch of just paying a quarterback an immense amount of money to where you can't even build a team around the guy. Even if we draft the guy and he's on that rookie contract, what money do we have available to us to actually start shelling out to make sure we have an offensive line, to make sure that we have a receiving core? At that point, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, probably not even here anymore, or even if they are, they're a shadow of what they once were. So what gives you any confidence that in the next 10 to 15 years, this team's going to be remotely freaking competitive?
And I said this again, the day that they made that trade, we didn't have this podcast yet.
No.
I said this will screw them for the next 10 to 15 years. And with your point, it's going to. It was an epic disaster that is the worst sin that's in sports someone could ever created, worst trade, and they will pay the price for years to come.
Yeah.
The best thing they could hope for, because, look, first-round picks going to be more guaranteed money. The best thing they could hope for.
Oh, you're giving second-round picks fully guaranteed money now.
Yep.
Think about that.
The best thing they could hope for is, and we could get to this in a second, Dylan Gabriel ain't it, right? I've figured that out, I think. Give him a couple more weeks, and you're going to hate this. The most ideal money situation would be that Shedeur Sanders is the guy. So then that way you could have a quarterback making virtually nothing, going into next year.
Sure, but then you got to pay him quicker. I mean, obviously, the best case scenario is that one of these two guys is the guy.
Right.
I mean, I genuinely don't think either of them are.
I know. I know for sure you don't think one is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've also gone on record, Jerome, and said I do not think that Dylan Gabriel's the guy either. I just happen to like him more than Sanders at the end of the day. I just think he's going to be a career backup, and he might be an okay backup at that. I mean, this past week against Pittsburgh, he looked pretty abysmal. He looked okay, I thought, against Minnesota. I thought he played decent.
We were complimentary of him against Minnesota.
We absolutely were. I mean,
rightly so.
And he looked bad against Pittsburgh. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I've seen all the memes. I've seen all the videos of. I don't know if you've seen this, Jerome. There's a video that's gone viral of somebody, the top 5 worst throws of the week with 3 honorable mentions, and all 8 of them are Dylan Gabriel.
And they all 8 awful.
Yeah, there were a couple that I thought, maybe you could have left that off. But I mean, 5 or 6 out of the 8 for sure belonged in there. I'm not dismissing that at all.
Listen, so there were 2 plays that stick out to me this game. Listen, and we still got to crush Stefanski, because what he did to that kid is completely and utterly and totally unfair.
I'm telling you.
And this guy, it's the same shit, different Sunday with his offense. It is disgusting. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. Where was I going anyhow? Oh, Dylan Gabriel. And we will get to, like I said, the kid was put in a real crap situation, but he's horribly inaccurate all game. I mean, just awfully inaccurate, grossly inaccurate. He's getting guys killed out there. I mean, he got Njoku hurt. Jerry Jeudy made a business decision that he didn't want to get, his bell rung. And listen, Jerry Jeudy, there's a lot to criticize there this year. I don't blame him. He was going to get absolutely probably bleeding from his ear. Gage Laverdane.
You're talking about the drop that Jeudy had?
No, I'm talking about the one throw that Gabriel had that Jeudy decided to he pulled his hands back on it.
Oh, he alligator armed it.
Yeah, and I don't blame him.
I know the one that you're talking about. That safety was coming hot.
And
I know the exact
one. And had Jeudy caught that, he was going to be sent into 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, there were a couple throws that Gabriel made like that. And even my brother Matt had texted me saying, this guy's going to get somebody killed.
Yeah, he's absolutely – I mean, he did – and he got Gage Laverdane killed. Don't forget about that. He got Njoku.
Yeah, Laverdane also got freaking screwed of a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, we can talk about that too. And I saw a great video today. Brian
Baldinger, love him.
Went on and on about it. And some guy goes, Baldy, all you got to do is look at the logo on the field. We always get screwed in Pittsburgh. And that is true too, ref-wise. And, Gage Laverdane, before Dylan Gabriel decided to get him murdered, he absolutely had a 58-yard touchdown that in real
right from
time
him.
I went ballistic about.
Yeah, we kind of all were. You and your dad were, I think, were the most vocal about it, and I was kind of in my silently angry, just like didn't even know what to say or whatever.
I used a bunch of 4-letter words that I don't want to use here on the podcast.
Yeah, there was some profanity used.
Yeah, and then Gabriel ends up getting him crushed like a couple series. Like listen, we'll kill Stefanski here in a second, but let's continue Gabriel while we're on it. Then we could change topics. Like the way that he was getting those guys or trying to get them crushed very much gave me a gross flashback. One that made my stomach turn. It looked like left-handed Brandon Weed the way he was getting those guys killed. Like, and that's the thing. Listen, I don't want to kill the kid too bad. It's a tough spot he's in. He has no tackles. His coach is setting him up for pure failure. So can we give him a little bit of that? But at the same time, like, he's awfully inaccurate. His accuracy was questioned coming into the draft, and now we're seeing why. And oh, by the way, they said he was mobile. He's not mobile at all, really. Like, he doesn't move well.
I don't think it was that he was mobile. I think it was that he was a more mobile option than Joe Flacco. Like, when we watched Dylan Gabriel at Oregon and even scouts, you never heard anything about and the mobility on this guy. Like you never heard that. I think it was just one of those, okay, we need somebody for a team that has no offensive line. We need somebody that can at least move around a little bit. And no, Dylan Gabriel's not the fastest guy in the world, but yes, he's a little bit quicker than Flacco, but not quick enough clearly.
Yeah, it's really he's a tough watch. Like,
I think the Browns as a whole just are now.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Like, and then the poor kid, like, struggles with throws all day, struggles getting out of the pocket. And the one time I thought he beautifully executed it, and you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. He rolled out, stepped up on his left-hand side, and delivered an absolute dime, and Harold Fannin did not catch it.
It was a gorgeous throw, actually. It really was.
It was beautiful. It
actually might have been his best throw of his career so far.
It was easily the best throw of his career. And then that one
through
comes
2 games.
to mind. Because what?
I said through 2 games. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Right. You're fine. And so that one comes to mind is very good. And then the other one that comes to mind is awful is like, so Jerry Jeudy is running like, it looked to be
it was like a deep crossing route.
Yes.
It looked like a shallow.
It looked like a deep crossing route, right? And then he sees the corner come up, so he goes upfield, and Dylan Gabriel throws it 5 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, he airmailed it.
And
I still don't even know if I trust Jeudy to catch that based off what we've seen through 6 weeks.
Yeah, he was pretty wide open. I do. Listen, and so, like, that's the thing. So now Gabriel's, like, he is what he is. He's not any good. He's horribly inaccurate. He's not mobile. So, like, and I know you're going to hate me saying this, but, like, how many more weeks should you give him before we're turning this thing over to Shedeur?
I mean, I think you're giving him at least 4 to 6 more weeks minimum.
That's a tough
I think
one.
at minimum 4. And I wouldn't necessarily put a ceiling on it. Maybe, I mean, if he if he's looking rough, I would say like the ceiling's probably 8 more games, because even then, you think about it, that's 3 games for Shedeur, which is actually crazy now that now that we're talking about that. Like if he plays 5, 6, 7, 8 more games, we're only looking at 3 to 5 more games of the season already, which is crazy to think about.
Because we have 11 left right now, right?
Yeah. But even then, like I don't think there's nothing that showed me at Colorado, and trust me, listen, I know we're going to see him at some point this year. I know it. There's nothing I saw at Colorado that showed me that Shedeur is going to play within the system of the offense, or honestly, I know like everybody keeps raving about how he's, the most accurate passer in college football, and yeah, the completion percentage is high, but how many times do I got to harp on the amount of times that he would run out of bounds instead of throwing the ball away to take a 2 to 3 yard loss to save that completion percentage, or the amount of sacks that he took. And I trust me, I understand that his offensive line was not the best offensive line in college, but there were plenty of plays that he would be in the pocket, dancing around a little bit for 8 seconds or so, and then he finds anybody's getting open in 8 seconds, man. Like anybody. I think we're in for a shadaster. Disaster.
Oh man!
I try to mix in the name.
Well, you
there.
know how I feel about that. I will say this though, and this is for Gabriel and Sanders. The tackles are, without Conklin getting hurt again. He's got a concussion now.
Oh yeah.
That left tackle spot is an absolute disaster between KT Turnstile and
Cam Robinson looked
and Cam
horrible.
Don't block anybody.
He looked
Cam
bad.
Will's over there. I mean, it is just it's despicable.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, or Peyton Manning. There is just a constant rush coming from that left spot because they don't have any, and that's on them again.
Yeah.
Because DeJuan Jones is a good tackle. He never stays healthy though. He's now 3 years in the league. You guys damn well knew the chances of him making it through all 17 were slim to none.
And while we're on it, Jack Conklin too, like you just brought up, you knew he wouldn't be healthy the whole year.
Right. And whatever. You brought in Cornelius Lucas as your swing tackle. There should have been another tackle brought in. That's on them. That's another check mark against them for not doing something right. And listen, so let's get to the obviously the Shedeur thing you and I are just never going to see eye to eye on. So, I mean, I obviously want to see him, and I want to see him sooner rather than later because I think he can make more happen than Dylan. I think his natural ceiling is so much higher than Dylan.
I would agree with that. I also think his floor is insanely lower.
That could be, but either way, I want to see Shedeur. I don't know what their plans are. They probably don't know what their plans are, for being perfectly honest.
So what your point is, if I'm hearing you correctly, so we're both seeing eye to eye that Shedeur Sanders has the higher ceiling than Dylan Gabriel. You see the point of him having a lower floor potentially than Gabriel.
Sure.
So we're talking about a team that's just so bad right now that you would just rather take the risk, and even if he's worse, then who cares really, because we already suck.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, the way Gabriel played in Pittsburgh on Sunday, I think Shedeur would have to be really bad in order for it to be worse. I don't see that happening, obviously.
Right. And I also do want to say, I think I might have said this last week, or I may have told you this off the air, but we kind of had this theory that, actually you were the one that brought it up to me, was that you feel like Stefanski basically told Gabriel, like, do not turn the ball over, basically.
Right.
Do not turn it over. So that was our theory and why there were so many dink and dunks against Minnesota. You can't make that argument this past week because there were probably 2 to 4 plays you can look at and say Gabriel should have been picked.
Oh, my God. Dylan Gabriel should have had 4 interceptions. Watching that again, like rewatching some of those throws, I mean, I don't know what happened. Yeah, he should have probably thrown 4 interceptions, realistically.
Yeah, I think a couple of those throws did happen on the same drive. So there were like 4 plays that you can look at, but probably in the entirety, like 2 to 3.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say it enough how awful he was. I mean, and I can't keep, but let's get to the other guy who was awful and who should be ashamed of himself for what he did to make Dylan awful. You're going to Pittsburgh, Kevin, not you. And I know you agree with this. You haven't won there since 2003. You're traveling with a rookie quarterback who in a lot of people's eyes is already, nothing more than Case Keenum's probably his optimal output at this point. You're going there. You have horrid tackles, and you sit there all week, and what you decide is 58 dropbacks. What the hell was he thinking, Kevin?
Absolutely.
What the hell is wrong with him?
Absolutely asinine. And our best, I'll say it already. I mean, we're only talking 5 games played. Our best player on offense is Quinshon Judkins. And he saw,
absolutely.
I think I 12 or 13 carries total, which is just completely unacceptable. And listen, I know that the Steelers' front seven is solid. It's good.
And they loaded the box.
They've been great our entire lives, the Steelers' front seven, genuinely. You go into Pittsburgh comes here, you're going to have a little bit of trouble running on them, right? So, yeah, I didn't expect Quinshon Judkins to get 30 carries, right? But I'm expecting at least 20, maybe even 25. Take that load off of your rookie quarterback, and yeah, I know I'm talking about a rookie running back, but a rookie running back having a higher workload is completely different than a third-round rookie quarterback who's under 6 foot throwing to a bunch of players that can't even catch the damn ball. And we've got everybody dropping the balls out there. Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, Harold Fannin, they're all doing it. The players that we looked at before the season, before Harold Fannin even had the solid week 1, we said he's probably going to be our third best option in the receiving game. We were on record, 6, 7, 8 episodes we said that.
He leads the team in catches, by the way.
Yeah, he probably also, along with actually Jerry Jeudy, probably leads him in drops. But Harold Fannin can't be far behind, which I don't understand. I think he had like 2 or 3 total drops while he was at Bowling Green, and we've seen 3 drops from him through 6 weeks of the season already. Like, there are some big, maybe even more than that now that I'm thinking about it. But like, these are plays that need to be made, and it doesn't help either that we're talking like. It does suck because we're talking about Dylan Gabriel, Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin. Like, that's who we've been talking about. We threw Njoku in there, but those are the 3 we've been hyper-focused on for these last 2-3 minutes, and they're all rookies. So the fact that we're talking about these high expectations and all of these players have to make plays, yet they're rookies in their first year in the league going up against a stout Pittsburgh Steelers defense. No, Kevin. No, Andrew. You didn't put this team in the best position to win. Yes, Kevin, you have to be better. This is 6 straight years of me hearing that bullshit. You do have to be better. Enough. And at this point, I'm done with the regime entirely. We've been on record. You and I have been Stefanski apologists. I would maybe even not even apologists, but supporters. I feel like I've been more of an apologist because I really haven't. I've given him the benefit of the doubt in almost every circumstance, and I'm done with it. This regime goes out, they make the worst possible move of all time. You give up on Baker, and we're not going to spend too much time on it. He's the front runner for MVP right now. So good job with your talent evaluating there. And we're in a significantly worse spot. You inherited a team with a 25-year-old Baker Mayfield, a 24-year-old Nick Chubb, star players in Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, who at the time, because he was drafted early, was still like 22 or 23 years old. Denzel Ward entering the beginning of his prime. Myles Garrett in the middle, still in the beginning stages of his prime. And you are in a significantly worse position than you started in. I am done with this regime. Done.
And I'll tell you what, I was a great rant there, and it was well said. And I really don't got anything else to say on that regard because, again,
I did monologue there. I apologize.
No, that was
my
great.
God.
That was excellent. And I'm tired of hearing that Kevin don't have his quarterback. I don't care. You know what?
Yeah, well, guess what? Guess what you did with your quarterback? You went out, spent 3 first-round picks and $230 million for the guy that you handpicked. I'm done hearing about picking the quarterback. You did, and it's cost. You're not going to be here. You're not going to be here 10 years down the line when we're still suffering from it.
And I don't think Kevin, listen, I that one thing I will defend Kevin on. I don't know that was his decision. I think that came from upstairs.
But hey, all we heard was that Barry and Stefanski work hand in hand, and they don't make moves without consulting the other one, which now we're starting to see maybe that's not the case based off of the Stefanski answer in the press conference last week about the Flacco trade that we talked about.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I have no clue, man.
I don't know whose fault that. I don't know who wears the most blood for the Deshaun Watson thing, but whoever does, they that is a stain on their career, and so ultimately nobody's going to take fault for it. I
do think Barry was the leading driving factor in that, and obviously that's just there's no sources that are telling me that, but that's the vibe that I get is that Barry was the mastermind behind that deal. And then when Baker came out, when he found out that they were looking in a different direction, and he still felt he was the franchise guy, requested a trade. Haslam probably felt they couldn't go back to him, and then that's where the fully guaranteed contract came in. That's my belief.
Well, here's what I've heard, and some of it is sourced that Andrew Barry thought about it, and at first Jimmy Haslam's like, nah, that's nah, and then Andrew's like, no, this is the best way to move forward, and Jimmy's like, well, how are we gonna get him? And Andrew's like, if you write the biggest check, and Jimmy said, fine, we're not losing a bid on him.
Yeah.
So Jimmy wrote the biggest check that nobody else would write.
Yep. Something else I do want to touch on really quick, something that gives me, and I know I briefly touched on it earlier, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth now, is with Andrew Barry inheriting this team. You know, when we talk about drafting a quarterback, we always want to put them in a good position, right? And we talked about how we don't have offensive line. You know, Batonio is going to be out the door probably after this year, actually guaranteed after this year. Teller, God knows how many years he has left. Don't know about Pochich. We have no offensive tackles.
Teller's a free agent.
Yeah, so
is Pochich.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not back. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. Have no offensive tackles. Our best receiver is a guy who can't catch a football, right? And Jerry Jeudy. When you go back to 2018, coming off that 0-16 season, and we hired John Dorsey, and I remember you and I were in college, and we were actually live recording for 88.3 The Sting at the time when the John Dorsey news broke. If you remember that, we broke that on the 88.3 airwaves. We broke that.
I do recall that.
Okay,
breaking that story.
What did John Dorsey do immediately? He went out. He traded for a veteran quarterback, Tyrod Taylor.
First thing he did was cut Kenny Brett.
Okay.
That was the very first thing he did.
Okay, well, one of the first, which great move. One of the first things he did in that once the offseason period opened is he traded for Tyrod Taylor, right? He traded for Jarvis Landry, and then another trade that day that kind of still goes a little bit under the radar was he traded for Demarius Randall, which I wasn't going to really focus on, but what did he do? He got a veteran quarterback in here who had been in the league for a while, that knew how to win some games, and he wasn't going to lose you some games. He went out, got a reliable receiver who could catch the football, and then he drafted his rookie quarterback, right? He made sure, he went out and signed Carlos Hyde. He made sure there was a veteran running back in the room.
Right.
He made sure there was talent around the quarterback when he drafted his franchise quarterback, which ended up...
one thing he did wrong.
He didn't focus on the offensive line at all.
It was terrible.
No, the offensive line was bad. But you get the point I'm making, right? Like, you could see the effort from Dorsey to try to put his rookie quarterback in the best possible position. Hell, you don't even have to play to start the season. The only reason he did play... And we were at that game, Jerome, was because of the Tyrod Taylor injury.
Yeah, Tyrod got hurt, yeah.
So going back to the point of if the Browns even find their guy, what makes you think that they're going to have the pieces, the cap space, even God knows with this regime what they do with the draft picks to put in place a supporting cast for your rookie quarterback. I mean, we're looking at, I truly do think we're looking at a decade of failure coming up right now.
Well, and here's my other thing, too, and I see a lot of people... say, well, they should trade David Njoku for draft picks. Okay.
They're going to, by the way.
Which is
in my
ridiculous.
opinion. Yeah, they're going to.
Which is, okay, because it goes back to your point. You have a veteran tight end who's still pretty damn good. Probably a top 10 tight end in the league. Maybe even a little bit higher. Okay?
Yeah, I would say closer to 5 than 10, but I would say outside of the top 5.
Right. So somewhere between
probably
6
or
and 10
7,
tight end through the league. And you're going to let him go because you want more draft. You already have 11 of those damn things. How many more you want? I mean, really? Are you going to have 1,000 rookies? And second-year players, you already have like 10 rookies on the roster this year. Like, Chris, you got to have some sort of veterans. And it can't just be Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. Like, you have to have some veterans on offense too.
Right.
And
I do want to say, I do think Tyson Campbell actually looked pretty decent on Sunday. I know he gave up that touchdown, but throughout the first 3+
I think
quarters.
for showing up on Thursday morning and being forced to play 63 out of 66 snaps on Sunday.
Yeah, I thought he played fine.
He was good. And that was a fine trade, whatever. I mean, you can't afford to sign Greg Newsome for what he's going to want. Tyson Campbell's already under contract. Yeah, you probably maybe talent drop off a little bit, but it's fine. it's like one of those whatever sort of things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you, like, and it goes back to, these guys think that they are just smarter than everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not even the Browns. It goes to an overarching thing, and these nerds have taken over football.
Yeah, they have, and it's something we talked about too with baseball. I know we spent a couple episodes ago, we talked about how we were frustrated with the analytics in baseball, but it's in football too, and unfortunately the Browns have been doing the analytic BS for like 10 years now with DePodesta.
Yeah, and where is he?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Is he still in Cal? Like, what the hell? And you know what? I still... Kevin,
he's got to have some dirt on Haslam or something, man, in order to keep this job.
I get it. I was not a high, like, I was very, low-level groundskeeper part-time. I worked there for 7 years. I don't know what Paul DePodesta does. I was in the building. I don't know what the guy does.
Right.
I have no earthly idea what the hell the guy does. And if he's the chief strategy officer, the strategy effing blows, all right? And it sucks.
I also want to say, like, for this being Barry's... And we've talked about it a little bit before, but just this draft that we have with these rookies right now, like, it's obviously a very, very good class of rookies that we have. His best draft since his first draft in 2020.
Well, it's the best draft he's ever had.
It is. That cannot save your job. Like, you've given us one phenomenal draft in 6 years, one good draft, and 3 just drafts. Like, that cannot save your job. It can't.
No. And you could argue some of these, like Jedrick Will, like that draft.
And you can also argue too, like, he didn't really have any first round picks. And whose fault was that?
That's theirs.
Theirs entirely.
Well, and you know what else you could argue? I again, you look at like the Greg Newsome move, and then you look at like the trades before the season. Like, this is a guy drafting like he's gotten word from Jimmy that he's here no matter what next year.
Yeah.
And so I think for fans, that's like, and I get it. Like, here's the thing. People are going to tell me I'm nuts for this take. That's fine. Go ahead. Comment. Tell me I'm nuts. This is my God's honest opinion. People are going to say, well, the Browns should just lose out now and lose every game and get the number one. Great. Who are they taking? Because Drew Aller's hurt. He stinks.
Fernando Mendoza.
Lenore Sellers gets hurt. He stinks. Mendoza, I don't really see enough. And like, who the hell
which is fair.
Trust the Browns develop, like, win games. And all I ever hear about is, well, people talk out of both sides of their mouths, because you have folks who will tell you, well, the Browns culture sucks. And then you'll have the same people tell you, well, yeah, they should lose out. You guys know what changes culture? Winning football games, all right? Enough with the losing and the draft picks. It hasn't done you good in a quarter century. Why think it's going to change now?
Yeah, it's not going to. I
can't get excited for the NFL draft. Why should I? What's to get excited about? There's no reason to be.
I'm excited
and
for
I know
draft.
Kevin loves the draft, and I know it's probably ripping his heart out hearing me say this, but I'll tell you this much, and people are going to say I'm absolutely nuts. I would rather the Browns go rip off the next 5 games, win 5 in a row, than I could care less if they had the number 1 pick. I really could care less, because even if they win games, guys, and which that changes the culture. You want to change the culture, win some damn football games, right? Like, that's more important. And you have to remember, like, these guys in this locker room, we just talked about it. There's a lot of rookies. And there's a lot, and this was Andrew Berry's outstanding class. We've talked about it. Schlesinger, Judkins, Fannin. These kids all look good. Dylan Gabriel, I guess you drafted a long-term backup. Yay, yippee.
Which again, in the 3rd round.
Yeah, but overall.
Like that's where I just don't understand. And actually, I'll let you finish. I apologize.
You're fine. So overall, though, you drafted a really good draft class. By all accounts, people who know way more about the draft than I do are saying this is the best draft class they've seen a singular team have in years.
Since like that 2017 Saints draft, which was unbelievable.
But these kids are young and they have promise. And you know what you don't want them to learn to do? Be okay with being career losers.
Right, exactly.
I love Myles Garrett. I love Denzel Ward. They've both done a hell of a lot of losing. I love Joel Bitonio. done a hell of a lot of losing. Like, and it's not those people's individual faults, but you don't want these kids to learn how to just lose and accept losing and lose. But everybody online just, I'll go for the draft pick. Yeah, keep going for the draft picks. That's really worked the last quarter century, everybody. Win some damn football games. That's how you change the culture. That's how you move things forward. Not constantly tanking for a quarter century.
Yeah, no, hey, listen, I agree, man. I agree. It's just, I don't know. I'm genuinely at a loss for words for this team because I just don't know what the right call is, right? I mean, we had Mike Vrabel also like in the organization last year. Let him walk. The Patriots look freaking awesome now with Vrabel there. Drake May looks fucking awesome right now. Like we always
on the language.
Yeah, well, I think was I quiet enough on that one? I don't know. I might have to put an E next to it. But it's just the amount of talent, whether it's coaching, whether it's front office, whether it's players too that come in and out of and then worst of all out of the organization, and then we just go see them succeed elsewhere. It's mind-bogglingly frustrating, dude. Like
because again, and I agree with you, and I hate to keep but culture, winning breeds culture. They haven't
No, I
won
understand.
enough.
I understand. But
they haven't won enough. That's the problem. And like even if like to everybody's point, well, they should lose for the number one pick. First of all, I actually do genuinely think, and this is not just me being a homer, like the Jets are worse than them. So the Jets are going to have this number one.
As of right now, through the first third of the season, yeah, they're worse.
And I genuinely think the Titans are probably worse than them. They got rid of Bill Callahan's son this week, and Bill. Both of them got shown the door. And I do think the Saints are probably worse. Like I think the Browns are the fourth worst team in the NFL from what I've evaluated.
What about the Dolphins? Speaking of, we got them this week.
Well, Vegas tells you that the Browns are a little bit better. They're laying 2.5. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So I again think that even if you do win some games, who cares? Because you have that in Jacksonville's pick. And if there's going to be teams at the top of the draft, you're going to have 2 firsts. There's teams who will take 2 firsts and for whatever pick you have. So just win some games. Like stop with the quarter century tankathon.
Yeah, and the Browns basically did that at the end of last year. It seemed like they were the last 3 to 4 weeks of the season, they were putting starting lineups out there that you knew they were not trying to compete in those games.
Right. And if they do that again this year, that's going to tell you everything you need to know that Jimmy told these guys they're coming back. Because you would think, right, these guys need to win games. Like,
yeah.
My guess, and Jimmy did say this at the beginning of the year, right? Because they asked him to put a number on it. He smartly said, I'm not putting a number on it because I know you guys will hold me to it and all that. He said, we do expect to win more games than last year. And immediately the media said, well, what's the number? I mean, okay. So I'm thinking that these guys better win some games, right? Like, I know that, and Jimmy could easily change his mind, right? Like maybe he might have told these guys, well, you guys have next year, so do whatever you do, make your moves for 2 years. But Jimmy also has been very busy. Jimmy's been working with the city. Jimmy's been dealing with lawsuits. That's all done now, right? We saw that Jimmy's going to pay off the city. Justin Bibb and the city of Cleveland got what they wanted. They got their $100 million from Jimmy and Dee to write a big check. They're going to blow up the lakefront, and they're going to – it's all done. Everything's closed, case closed. Jimmy's been battling that. Jimmy's been busy with that for 2 years now. Jimmy just got a whole hell of a lot more free time, so you know what that means. Him and Dee are going to be eyes on Andrew.
Absolutely.
Eyes on Kevin. That's an interesting thing. Jimmy might have promised these guys a lot of shit, but guess what? Promises can be broken.
Yep.
And now Jimmy's has to be in city meetings and deal with politics all the time. I get it. He's still going to be busy, figuring out certain things of how to build the stadium, this and that. I mean, it's going though. The project's a done deal. They don't have to deal with the city of Cleveland anymore. So my whole thing with that, Kevin, is go ahead. Now you have time to spend on this football team, and if Jimmy sees continuous losses and a worse season than last year, I don't give a crap what he promised you, Andrew or Kevin. You're both going to be shown the door.
That's what I'd like to see. I'm kind of already on that train right now. I'm just disgusted of what we've seen the last few years.
All right, well, real quick, you want to talk about the game on Sunday? Browns are laying 2.5.
Yeah, Browns are laying 2.5, and I saw a funny thing on X. Somebody had said that this is the first time you can really look at both fan bases, ask them what they think, and each fan base is going to say, "We're going to lose."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I do genuinely think the Browns are going to go in there and lose. I do. I think the Dolphins cover.
They can win outright?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Cover and win outright.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think the Browns are going to win. I predicted them to cover and lose last week. You predicted them. You were almost spot on. I think you said 23-10, right?
Said 23-13.
Okay.
It was 23-9.
All right. I said 19-16. So I'm going to say the Browns cover the 2.5 and they win the game as 2.5-point favorites. And I do think that, if the offense is bad early, I don't. People have lost their patience. I think the first 3 and out, you're going to hear boos down there.
Oh, I'd be booing the crap out of them.
And I still don't know. I may have to go to this game. I don't know yet. I don't know if I could sell my tickets because I don't know who wants them.
Oh God.
So I may have to go to this game. And if they go 3 and out, I'm going to boo them. And if Dylan Gabriel looks like crap, you're going to hate me for this. I will be chanting for Shador.
That's disgusting.
I'm sorry. I'm telling you the God's honest truth.
I'm glad you're being honest.
You're
with
my
me,
friend. You're my co-host. I'll be firing up the.
Don't be throwing your wrist up, please. Don't. I know there's going to be a lot of people doing it. I know, and I'm sure that I'll probably see on the television screen when they pan to the crowd. I'm sure I'll see a bunch of the wrists up, and God, Lord, do I not want to see him on Sunday.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. As much as I want to see him, I hope that we can enjoy a nice win, and I hope Dylan Gabriel looks good, and I hope Dylan Gabriel doesn't get any more receivers hurt or throw it off the side of their helmet, and I hope.
Do you think that was on Isaiah Bond or Dylan Gabriel?
I
think it was both.
I think it was both.
Right.
And I hope that when the Browns go down by 3 points, Kevin Stefanski doesn't abandon the run game entirely. I hope all these things. And I do think to some degree it's going to happen because I'm going to pick the Browns to win. And Tua Tagovailoa called out his entire organization. At least the Browns don't have anybody doing that at the podium yet. And I hope that all this happens. And I do believe it will. And I do believe the Browns will go to 2-5. And I hope it all happens because, quite frankly, they need it to. Because the fans have lost patience. They haven't been home in a month. The last time they were home, they were 1-2. They've lost 3 in a row. I guess London was technically a home game, but you know what I mean. Home at Huntington Bank Field on the lakefront.
Yep.
They have not been down there for a month. And a lot of crap has happened since then. They need a good performance or else you're going to see one of two things. You're going to see empty stands by the second half, or the folks who will remain will have bags on their head and they'll be booing.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I do think Judkins runs for $150 on Sunday. I think Judkins has a big game.
Do you think Kevin lets him?
Oh, yeah, I do. If I think he's going to do it, then I think Kevin lets him.
I mean, again, and we've already hammered this so long, and I hate to keep. But Kevin, when you go down 3-0, you don't have to entirely abandon the run game.
Right.
All right.
Right. And can we get 20 points on Sunday?
I don't know. That I don't know. I think they cover. I'm going to go ahead and take them 17-14 because I don't want to jinx the kid either. But the kicker looks pretty good.
I'm going to take 20-12 Dolphins.
Okay. 4 Andre Schmidt field goals.
Or 2 touchdowns with a couple mixed extra points, or the Browns try to get fancy and go for 2 and it doesn't work out, and then they got to do it again and then it doesn't work out.
I'm gonna
something stupid.
I'm going to say Browns 17-14. I believe this kid's look good who's kicking the football. I'm going to give you another Andre Schmidt game winner.
Okay. Oh, man. Getting me excited here on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, speaking of excitement, the Cavs begin play next Wednesday.
That's right. Yeah.
A week from the recording of this podcast here. And I don't believe they did win a preseason game, and I can give a shit less.
Yeah, I don't really care either, to be honest with you. The only thing was excited to see was that Lonzo Ball looked good. It looked like he was meshing well with the offense, and the young players, like obviously last year's first-round pick Jalen Tyson has looked good, and so has this year's second-round pick Tyrese Proctor. So those are really the only three people, honestly, that I was intrigued to see, just because those are really only the new, like Jalen Tyson obviously on the team last year, but those other two players, guards, that need to mesh with us. Lonzo Ball is going to be he has to be a big factor on this team, kind of playing that, kind of the Ty Jerome role, but not really. You know, asked to do the same thing, but also in a different way. So I am excited for Lonzo Ball's presence on this team, especially the defense that he brings off the bench. And then I do hope to see Jalen Tyson get some significant minutes. I don't think we're going to see too much of Proctor this year, but he is an exciting piece to have moving forward. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and I'm excited because we'll get a nice barometer stick game right off the rip. You are in Madison Square Garden on national television on ESPN at 7 o'clock next Wednesday. So
yeah,
all these prognosticators and people who know way better about the league than I do tell you that these are the top two teams in the East, so we're going to get to see them square off.
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
Off the rip.
And kind of weird news for the Knicks. You know, Malcolm Brogdon decided to retire today. Did you see that?
Out of thin air, yeah.
Just out of nowhere. So that was interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, I am excited going into this year. The Cavs are favored to win the East, and I do think that these two teams are going to be the best teams in the East this year, unless Boston gets Tatum back. You know, maybe if they have another third of the season to go or even quarter of the season to go, if Boston's still in it and they get Tatum back, I could see them making a run come postseason time. I don't have any confidence in the Pacers this year. That run they went on was awesome, that Cinderella run that they went on last year.
They lost Tyrese.
That's what I was just getting to. You know, with them not having Halliburton, I don't see them being a factor. But I do. One team, and we have brought this up before, Jerome, I am interested to see how that Magic team's going to look with adding Desmond Bane.
That's a sleeper.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know. Milwaukee was kind of no good last year, so do we really? I guess you still got to throw them in there because Giannis is still on the roster.
Yeah. I don't consider them to be a threat really at all.
No. Neither do I, really, quite honestly. So we'll be interested to see that. And also, I think this is just a side note for me, which is cool. NBA back on NBC. That's going to be like the main national carrier replacing TNT for the first time since 2002.
Cool.
So that'll be
whatever.
Cool.
I'd be watching it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I saw they brought in a lot of. I like who they have on their desk too. NBC. They got Tracy McGrady and Carmelo Anthony on their halftime desk. That's
tough. Some of
that's a good hire.
The prime scorers of our childhood.
Yeah,
some of them.
Those are good hires.
Yeah.
And Reggie Miller going to carry over from TNT to NBC as their top color analyst. So, Cavs, bring him back, and I want to shout out my brother who had a great point today. He says, "You guys want to feel old?" He goes, "These are our childhood jerseys, and they're now throwbacks."
Yeah.
Cavs bringing back the 07 to 2010 Navy. We've been clamoring for this for years.
Dude.
It hasn't just been us.
Everybody.
The city's been clamoring for it. Dan and Kobe Altman and whoever else, the people from Nike and Jordan and all that, giving us what we want. We got the Navy uniforms back.
And these are, I will say, these are the sexiest Cavs jerseys of all time. They are my favorite Cavs jersey of all time. I think they look the best. I think they look the cleanest. The big-ass C on the side that just spells Cleveland right across it, diagonally too, and matches the court. I mean, I love these uniforms so much. I'm so glad they're back. I hope when the Cavs inevitably do a rebranding in a couple years, like they do every 4 or 5 years, I hope they truly bring back this era, the 2005 to 2010 uniforms, like full time, or 2003 to 2010.
And
I should say.
I saw they're bringing back that court too, and I love that court.
That's what I was. Yeah, I love that court too. I love the huge ass basketball.
Remember the slogan back then?
Oh man. All for one, one for all.
That's right.
That's right, baby.
Right. You nailed it. All for one for all. That was great. Do you think that they can finally get over the hump and get out of the damn second round?
I mean, this would be the year to do it, right? Like, it has to be. You know,
and I think we'll go much more
in depth probably next week.
Yes.
Just because that'll be the night. We'll be recording probably as the game tips off. We might even have it on a little bit in the studio.
Unless we go the day before, maybe.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we'll do our truly in-depth analysis. I wasn't sure if we were going to have enough time because I know that we were going to spend a lot of time on the Browns this week. And obviously touched on the Guardians a little bit as well. But yeah, let's go into way more in-depth next week. That'll be like our preview episode for the Cavs.
I'm not going to hold you to the fire then. That'll be that'll be a good teaser for our listening audience.
Yeah.
Kevin will tell you next week, and so will I, whether I believe they can finally get out of the second round.
Yeah, that works.
So we'll do that next week. Let's cover the baseball real quick. Mariners up 2-0 on the Blue Jays. Jorge Polanco having the postseason of a lifetime. My God.
Yeah, he's been playing well, and it looks like my World Series prediction of Dodgers-Mariners might be coming to fruition here.
I think you might just be right because the Dodgers are up 2-0 on the Brewers.
Yeah.
Yamamoto threw not a no-hitter, excuse me, sorry. Yamamoto threw a complete game last night, first postseason complete game in 8 years, and I just can't believe a manager in this era let his pitcher go 9 innings. That's just unheard of.
It's insane. Honest to God. I mean, we don't really see pitchers get out of the bottom of the fifth, really, in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. And I think the last thing we want to get into here, let's cover, before we get on out of here, let's cover the college football. It's time for our annual picks.
Weekly picks.
Sorry. I'm losing it. Annual picks. We give picks to you guys more than once a year. It's this time for the weekly picks segment. Let's touch on a couple of these ranked matchups. Another big week in college football. First of all, how about the Indiana Hoosiers? Shout out to Nate who called that one.
Yeah, he did. I think he was the only one on the panel last week that called the Hoosiers winning.
He nailed that. And
Which
Kurt
is
Cignetti
crazy.
and the boys went out to Eugene and showed everybody, including me in America, they are for real.
Yeah.
And I can thank God tonight that the Ohio State Buckeyes don't have to see those guys till playoff time because they are for real, man.
Yeah, number 3 team in the country, led by one and only
Fernando
Mendoza. QB1.
All right. Let's cover the ranked matchups this week. Number 10, LSU at number 17, Vandy. Vandy laying 2.5 at home. Kevin, who do you like?
You know, I've often gone on record and said I usually pick against LSU in these scenarios just because Brian Kelly can never win that big game. This isn't as big of a game as some other huge games that he's had in the past. So I'm actually going to pick the Tigers going into Vanderbilt to cover and win.
All right. He likes LSU plus the 2.5 as outright winners. I disagree. Give me Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores at home. I like them laying the 2.5 against the Tigers. And Nessmeyer has not looked that good this year. Really, none of these quarterbacks have.
No, none of them have, really. But I do like Nussmeier still.
All right, college game day's heading there. I'm sure Pat McAfee will be standing on a spinning chair on Saturday morning in Athens, Georgia. He'll have the folks all fired up down there, as will Nick Saban and the rest of the game day crew. That's where they're heading as number 5, Ole Miss, heads in between the hedges, as they like to say, and head to Athens, Georgia against number 9, Georgia. Ole Miss undefeated. Georgia has one loss to Alabama. Georgia laying 7.5 at home. LSU looked like absolute crap, Ole Miss looked like absolute crap against Washington State this week. They did get out of there with the 3-point win, though, at home. So they got to be a lot better this week if they want to go into Athens in between the hedges and win the game. Who do you like?
No, I completely agree with you, Jerome. I'm gonna take the Bulldogs to cover and win. I like them at -7.5. I like Georgia.
I like Georgia to outright win, but I do like Ole Miss plus the 7.5.
Okay.
I think they cover. I don't think they win, though. All right, on to the next one. Rocky Top takes their show on the road as the number 11 Vols with one loss. They head to Tuscaloosa to face Kalen DeBoer, who I don't know if I've seen a resurgence like a coach from this in a while. Everybody under the sun wanted this guy out. He's back, and he's got Alabama ranked number 6, and they are 7.5-point home favorites in Tuscaloosa against the Vols. Who do you like?
So I do like Alabama to win this game, but I'm going to kind of steal your pick of the Ole Miss UGA game. I like Alabama to win, but I like the Volunteers to cover.
All right, he likes the Tennessee plus the 7.5, not to win outright, though. You know what? I like the same thing.
Okay. Look at us in agreement on this one.
A little bit different with a little caveat. Give me the Vols plus 7.5 and to win outright and pull off a big upset.
You don't agree with me at all.
Well, I agree with you on the plus 7.5.
Come on here.
I agree with you on the plus 7.5. All right, now this one's got Kevin sweating over here. He feels the heat. he feels as the Trojans and USC looking for victory in South Bend. Notre Dame laying 9.5 at home. Kind of a little bit bigger of a spread than I thought. I guess people were really impressed with Notre Dame did to my Wolfpack last week. I was wrong about that. As Notre Dame dominates. USC best win. Illinois barely beat USC at home. But USC did beat the crap out of Michigan. I don't know what folks think of them, but they beat the crap out of Michigan last week. So this is a huge game for Notre Dame because...
Yeah, I mean, if they lose this game, they're out of the playoffs.
Right.
That's 3 losses.
But that would be also probably the best 3 losses in the country. Doesn't really matter,
Yeah, I mean, they have the best 2 losses in the country right now to the number 2 Miami Hurricanes and the number 4 Texas A&M Aggies by a combined 4 points.
So do you like your own team as much as Vegas does at home with Touchdown Jesus looking on?
So I do like USC to cover. I'm 50-50 on the winner of this game. I know the nation and a lot of, NFL talent evaluators, they really love CJ Carr. And I've gone on record saying I'm a huge CJ Carr advocate, the quarterback for Notre Dame. I just haven't seen, I have seen the impressive throws from him this year. I just haven't seen as many amazing plays as what it seems like social media is hyping up. Maybe that's just because I watch them every week. I'm going to go USC. I'm going to go USC as the outright winner in this one. It pains me to say it. Just don't have a great feeling. I'm used to some of these big games for the Irish, them not really coming up in the clutch moments. I'm going to say that Notre Dame's playoff hopes get ended this weekend, unfortunately.
I like the Irish, and
Okay.
I like them to cover. I like them to lay the 9.5 at home.
Okay.
I think they cover.
I hope you're right.
And, USC, they're not bad, but I don't think they're on the level the Irish are. I was impressed with their win at home against Michigan, but I like the Irish. All right.
I like that pick.
The Ohio State University could put Luke Fickell out of his misery this weekend in Wisconsin, former Ohio State coach. The Badgers are 2-4. They're pretty awful. Ohio State is laying 25.5 points on the road at Camp Randall. That's just got to make Badger fans sick. Kevin, I think Ohio State's only getting better and better. I like the Buckeyes to cover and win.
I think Ohio State 100% wins this football game. I just think 25.5 points against, not that Wisconsin's like a prestigious program, but they're a solid football school typically year in and year out. I don't like that spread for the Buckeyes. So I'm going to take Wisconsin to cover, but I do think Ohio State wins by 2.5 to 3 touchdowns.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I do think that the Wisconsin, obviously 2-4 this year. Fickell looks terrible. It looks like the Big Ten might be a little the rigors of the Big Ten a little much for him. Maybe I'll have to go back to the Big 12 with Cincinnati.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he had that team really good, and now
he coached the team that went into South Bend and beat Notre Dame.
Right. So anyway, that's the college football picks of the week. If you want to win some money, listen to us.
One of us is bound to be right.
Yep, exactly. All right, and that'll do it for this week's show in general. If you missed any of it, or not missed any of it, we're not live.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyhow, you can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And you could also follow us on social media at CLE Sports Realm. We're available on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, that'll do it. Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Cleveland Sports Realm. And we want to thank our loyal fans, as this is our 50th one. And if you've been with us for all 50, and I know some of you out there have been, shout out to you tonight. We really appreciate it. And if you're just finding us for the first time on the 50th episode, shout out to you. We appreciate you as well. But we want to give our loyal listeners some flowers. So thank you guys and the gals who've stuck with us. All right, for Derek, for Kevin, I'm Jerome. We'll talk to you next week on the Cleveland Sports Realm.
Let them know. Go Cavs.